Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Sam. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and in today's video I want to go over the entire process of turning hair blonde. I want to explain to you what is involved in that process and also answer the question of why a lot of the times you can't get the color results that you want in just one session. The process of making hair blonde is a lot more difficult and more complicated. There's a lot more that goes into it, and there's a lot of factors that can affect the results and can affect how long the process is going to take. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as just picking up a box of blonde color, putting it on the hair, and bam, you're blonde. So first of all, in order to get the hair blonde, you have to use some type of lightener or bleach or high lift color. You cannot just use a regular blonde hair color and expect to get blonde results unless your hair is already a level of blonde and you're just trying to shift it and bump it a little tiny bit. If your hair is dark, it's not gonna work. It doesn't work that way. So I'm gonna show you guys a photo. This is a hair level chart. So there are 10 levels to hair. This chart that I'm showing you from Wella only goes down to level 2. So you might notice there is no 1 there. Level 1 is your darkest color. That's like black. For whatever reason, Wella doesn't believe in a level 1, or they just don't have a level 1 in their color range. But traditionally speaking, there are 10 levels to hair. So level 1, that's like black. All the way up to level 10, that is your lightest shade of blonde. So all of those platinum blondes, those really light white blondes, silver colors even, anytime you wanna have like a really light pastel color, that all needs to be lifted to a level 10 to achieve. If you look at the colors on top, those are the exposed pigments. So depending on whatever level you're at, the exposed pigment is that underlying pigment that's in your hair. If you were to go and apply any kind of lightener or bleach onto your hair, it would reveal that underlying color and it would turn the shade that you see on top on the chart. So in order to get from one end of that level chart to the other end, you have to go through every single level in between. So to give you an example, say you're starting at a level 4 brown and you want to be a level 10 blonde, like the lightest, iciest, most cool tone blonde you can be. You have to go through level 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 before you get to 10. You can't just jump straight from a 4 to a 10. It doesn't work that way. And if you look at those underlying pigments on the chart, that's why if you have naturally dark hair and you've ever tried to lighten your hair yourself at home, you might have ended up with a really ugly, brassy, orange or gold kind of color. That's because you didn't lift enough levels. You didn't make it all the way to that level 10, and so you were left somewhere in between, probably a level 7 or an 8. Now obviously based on that, the darker that your starting point is, the darker that your hair is currently, the more levels you have to go through in order to get blonde, which means the longer the process is going to take and the more strain it's going to put on your hair. So if you're starting out with already like a dark blonde or a light brown color and you want to be platinum, that most likely will be able to be done in one session, in one appointment, because you don't have as far to go on that level chart. However, if you're starting out with really dark hair, like a level 2 or even a level 1, it's probably not going to be able to get done in one appointment because there's just so much that has to get lifted through. And whenever you're lightening the hair, it can only lift so much during each application. And there are also so many things that determine how your hair is going to lighten, how light it's going to get during each application. Things like the texture and the density of your hair. If you're on any kind of medication, your hormone levels, the type of water that you have at your house, like the water you're washing your hair with. Do you have hard water that has a lot of mineral buildup in it? The condition and the health of your hair. And most importantly, if you have any artificial color in your hair. So even if your hair is completely virgin, it is just natural, you have not put any color at all whatsoever on it, you still probably aren't going to be able to get from a level 2 to a level 10 in one appointment, just because of how many levels you have to go through and how much strain it's going to put on your hair. But now if any of those other factors that I just mentioned come into play, that's going to affect how your hair lightens as well, and so that's going to prolong the process even more than it already would have because your hair is already so dark, if that makes sense. Artificial color is just going to create an extra barrier on the hair. It's just like one more thing that the lightener needs to work through in order to get your hair lighter. If you have box dye on your hair or henna dye, a lot of those products have harsh metallics in them, and sometimes they can have a chemical reaction with the bleach. So if you go and you put lightener or bleach on the hair to try to make it blonde, it's just gonna have a chemical reaction and it's just going to immediately start melting your hair off. Now, even if a chemical reaction doesn't occur, box dye is still so much more difficult to lift through because it's just a lot harsher on the hair. It drives a lot deeper into the cuticle than salon color does. And I'll show you some photos as examples. These are photos that I found on Instagram, and you can see what the hair looks like when you go to lighten it if it has previous artificial color in it. And I love this photo the most because you can see the side by side. These two clients look like they have the same starting hair color, but one person's hair is virgin and the other has artificial color in it, and you can see how differently it lightens. The virgin hair that doesn't have any color in it just lightens so nicely, so easily. It immediately pulls to that really beautiful yellow kind of color, which is where you want to be if you're trying to go blonde. Whereas the person with the artificial color, not only is it so uneven, there's so many different things happening there. Some parts are a little bit yellow, some parts are kind of more red, some are a little more orange, some parts are still just brown and are barely even lightening at all. So that makes it tricky. Not to mention lightening your hair regardless. Like, even if you are starting with natural, virgin, uncolored hair, putting lightener on your hair is going to be damaging. Now, of course, there's ways that you can go about it to reduce the amount of damage that's done. You can absolutely have lightened hair that still, for the most part, is healthy and it feels good, it looks good, you don't have any breakage, but it's causing some type of damage. It's a chemical process that's occurring on your hair. So if you're starting out with hair that already is a little bit damaged, whether it's damage due to using hot tools all the time, or it's damage from previous color, lightening that hair is just going to make it even more damaged. So depending on your starting point, you might not be able to do as much to it in that one appointment. And I know for myself as a stylist, and I'm sure most other colorists can agree with me, the number one priority is keeping the integrity of our client's hair. We don't want to completely fry off your hair. So if we believe that getting to your color goal is going to be too damaging, too much stress on your hair, you just have to take our word for it. And maybe it's gonna take more sessions. Maybe you're gonna have to come in for multiple appointments, or maybe we're gonna have to just change your color goal altogether until your hair is at a healthier state where it will be able to handle that process. Something that I wanted to mention is before and after photos that you see online, because I know there's tons of before and afters out there where the before photo is really, really dark hair and then the after is a very light, beautiful, ashy, cool toned blonde. And so you might see those photos online and think, well, if it can be done to that person, why can't it be done to me? You have to keep in mind, like all the things I just mentioned, you don't know that person's hair history. You don't know the condition of their hair. You don't know what's been done to their hair previously. Maybe their hair was able to handle that and yours maybe isn't. Also, unless the stylist is disclosing all of this information in the caption of the photo, you don't know what that process was like. You don't know how many hours it took to achieve that. You don't know how much it cost to achieve that. You don't know if that was done over several months or like a year plus. There are some stylists that are what we like to call one session stylists that will literally take one client for their entire day and they will spend 12 hours on just one client. But most stylists in just like a regular salon don't like to work that way because A, it's extremely exhausting, and B, it's very expensive. If you are gonna be paying for somebody's time like that, 12 hours, like an entire day, you have to be willing to pay for that. And let's be honest, like most average people don't have $1,200 to spend on one hair appointment. You know what I mean? So you have to keep that in mind as well. Those results that you're seeing definitely did not just occur in like 2 hours. I mean, that's just not physically possible. Sometimes too, that before and after was a whole entire long hair journey that spanned over, like I said, several months. And maybe they're just showing you the before and the after just to show you like the final transformation, but they're not including all of those in between photos. Or the photo could even just be photoshopped, or it could be a filter, or it could be a wig. That's another thing too. I can't even tell you how many times I've had clients come in with their inspiration photos and the photo that they're showing me is a wig or it's heavily filtered, and like I'll see the photo, I'm like, oh, I know that photo. Wait, hold on, let me show you the original of it because I know the stylist who did that, or something like that. Keep in mind that what you're seeing online is not the full picture, it's not the full story. This is the way that hair works, and even though I wish that we could be magicians as hairstylists and we could just do whatever you want, like that's the thing. Keep in mind that we want to please our customers. We want to give you the color that you want. It's not like we're telling you no just to be mean, but this is just how it works. This is just the science of it. So that's gonna be it for this video. I really hope that that helped explain everything and kind of like broke it down, simplified it a little bit. And for stylists out there, hopefully this video will help you better explain to your clients how the whole process works. Anytime you have a client coming in that wants to be blonde, make sure that during your consultation, you're really explaining this process to them so that they understand what is involved. And it'll make them trust you more, because then when you go and tell them, okay, no, this isn't gonna be possible, this is gonna take 3 or more sessions, they won't just think that you're like pulling that out of your butt, you know, like they'll understand why. Like there's actually a reason why you're saying no. It's not just because you don't feel like it or that's just how you work specifically. They'll understand that no matter who they go to, this is just how it works. And this is how it is. If you need a little bit of help with your consultations, I did a video sharing how I do my consultations, so a link to that will be up in the cards as well as down in the description too. But that's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, I would really love it if you would subscribe before you go, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.